The Atlantic Ocean stretched endlessly around him, vast, indifferent, and deadly. There was no land in sight, only water in every direction, and a sky that seemed to mock his helplessness. In the middle of this blue abyss, Steven Callahan floated alone in a tiny life raft, battered by sun, wind, and waves, with nothing but his wits and willpower keeping him alive. In January 1982, 29-year-old Steven Callahan stood on the deck of his small sailboat, Adventures, preparing to cross the Atlantic Ocean alone. A naval architect from Maine, he had built boats and designed them for others, but now he wanted to test himself to prove he could navigate one across an ocean. He set out from the Canary Islands bound for the Caribbean, confident in his skills and prepared with supplies. But 6 days into his voyage, disaster struck. It began as a dark line on the horizon. Within hours, the storm engulfed him. Winds howled, waves towered like walls of water, and Adventures took on water faster than Callahan could pump it out. He fought desperately through the night, but by morning, the boat was sinking. With seconds to spare, Callahan launched his inflatable life raft and jumped in just as his boat disappeared beneath the waves. His radio was gone, his emergency beacon damaged, and his fresh water supply gone with the ship. He was alone, adrift, with only a few tools, some fishing gear, and a thin rubber raft between him and death. Callahan had survived the sinking, but survival had only just begun. The raft rocked violently in the swells, and the tropical sun beat down on him without mercy. He was soaked, exhausted, and terrified. His first priority was water. He found 2 desalination devices machines that convert seawater into drinking water, but one broke immediately, and the other produced only a trickle each day. He needed rain. Using his jacket as a makeshift top, he caught precious drops of rainwater in his hands and containers. Every drop was a lifeline. Food came next. He had a spear, gun, hooks, and lines. But catching food in the open ocean is not easy. For days, he saw nothing. His body began to weaken. Hunger gnawed at him constantly. Then, on day 4, he speared a flying fish. It wasn't much, but it was something. From then on, he became a hunter. He learned to catch dorado, mahi-mahi, triggerfish, and even squid. He kept some alive in a plastic bag tank, so he'd always have fresh food. He ate raw fish eyeballs for moisture and nutrients. He drank blood from freshly killed fish. He rationed everything. He improvised everything. One day, a shadow appeared beneath his raft, massive, slow, deliberate, a tiger shark. It circled him for hours, then it vanished, only to return again and again over the following days. Callahan knew he couldn't fight it off forever, so he made a plan. He speared a fish and used it as bait, dangling it from the raft. When the shark attacked, he lunged with his spear. In a desperate struggle, he managed to kill the beast, pulling it aboard his tiny raft with sheer strength and adrenaline. The shark gave him meat, oil, and hope. Its fat became fuel for his lantern. Its meat fed him for days, and its presence reminded him that he was still capable of fighting back. As the days dragged on, Callahan's body deteriorated. His ribs jutted out, his skin hung loose, and infections spread across his legs from constant immersion in salt water. His muscles atrophied. He lost teeth. He hallucinated. But worse than the physical pain was the mental toll. Loneliness crept in like fog. Doubt whispered in his ears. Was anyone looking for him? Would he ever be rescued? To keep his mind intact, he talked to himself. He wrote notes in a waterproof pouch, tracking his progress. He set daily goals: fix the raft, catch a fish, collect water. Small victories kept despair at bay. He imagined conversations with loved ones. He dreamed of home, and he never stopped believing he would survive. By day 70, Callahan was skeletal, weighing less than 140 pounds. His raft was torn, patched with sealant from his kit. His clothes were rags. He was barely conscious some days. But then, land. On April 20, 1982, after 76 days adrift, Callahan spotted the island of Marie-Galante in the Caribbean. Weak and barely able to move, he fired a flare. Hours later, local fishermen found him floating near shore. They pulled him aboard, stunned at what they saw. A man barely alive, covered in sores, eyes sunken, voice barely a whisper. He could hardly stand. But he was alive. Steven Callahan's rescue made headlines around the world. Doctors marveled at his survival. Scientists studied his case as a testament to human endurance. He weighed just 135 pounds when rescued, nearly half of what he had been. Yet, mentally, he was whole. In the years that followed, Callahan wrote about his ordeal in the book Adrift, 76 Days Lost at Sea, which became an international bestseller. He consulted on survival gear, advised adventurers, and spoke publicly about resilience, preparation, and the power of the human spirit. Steven Callahan passed away in 2024, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire. His story isn't just about surviving at sea. It's about enduring against all odds. It's about the choices we make when there are none left. It's about the belief that even in the darkest moments, hope can be enough. Callahan once said, "I didn't survive because I was stronger or braver than anyone else. I survived because I never gave up." And that, perhaps, is the most powerful lesson of all.